Good morning, students. Today we'll discuss about hydrides. Okay, what are hydrides? The binary compounds formed between hydrogen and other elements are called hydrides. Binary compounds formed between hydrogen and other elements are called hydrides. The compounds formed between hydrogen and other elements. Okay, for example, if sodium combines with hydrogen, it will form NH, sodium hydride. Okay, sodium hydride. If potassium combines with hydrogen, it will become potassium hydride. Such compounds formed, or such binary compounds formed between hydrogen and any other elements is called hydride. And there are three types of hydrides. First one is ionic or saline hydride. Saline hydride. Okay, and second one is which one? Second one is covalent hydride. Covalent or molecular hydride. Covalent or molecular hydride. And third one is metallic hydride. So these are the three types of hydrides. Let us discuss about these three types in detail. Shall we? First of all, we are going to discuss about ionic hydrides. Ionic hydrides. Okay. Ionic hydrides are the compounds formed between hydrogen and S block elements. Do you know what is S block element? S block element, the first two group in the modern periodic table. Okay, the first two group in the modern periodic table is called as S block element. Okay, and when the S block elements combine with the hydrogen, they will form ionic hydride. Okay, and they are stoichiometric compounds. Stoichiometric compounds means they are combined in a whole number ratio. The elements are combined in a whole number ratio. For example, if magnesium combines with hydrogen, it will form MgH2, right? MgH2. So here one magnesium combined with two hydrogen atoms to form MgH2. So the elements are combined in a whole number ratio here to form a compound, a hydride. Such hydrides are called stoichiometric hydrides. Okay, they are stoichiometric hydrides. Like ionic compounds, they are good conductors of electricity in molten state. Okay, they do not conduct electricity in solid state, but they conduct electricity in molten phase, and they are crystalline in nature. Okay, as I told you about stoichiometry, right? In their crystalline form, the elements are combined in definite ratio of small whole numbers. Okay, and next one, like ionic compounds, they are non-volatile in nature. Okay, and that's all about the properties. And these properties are similar to ionic compounds. That's why they are called as ionic hydrides. Okay, and compounds like lithium hydride and beryllium BeH2 and MgH2. are significantly covalent in nature. Okay, these compounds are significantly covalent in nature, not exactly, but little bit significant covalent nature is there in these compounds, but the remaining compounds are completely ionic in nature. Examples are Na, H, K, H, and BH2, etc. All these are ionic hydrides, examples of ionic hydrides. Have you got an idea about hydride? Ionic hydrides, they are similar to ionic compounds. That's why they are called as ionic hydrides, compounds formed between S block elements and hydrogen. Next, we'll discuss about the second type, covalent hydrides. Okay, covalent hydrides. From the name itself, we can understand what are these type of hydrides. They are the hydrides formed between the p block elements with hydrogen. Okay, p block element and elements and hydrogen. These are the compounds formed between p block elements and hydrogen. Okay, and as we all know, or from the name itself we can understand, these are covalent in nature. So these hydrides are formed by the sharing of electron. Okay, these hydrides are formed by the sharing of electron. That's why it is called covalent hydride. These compounds will have covalent nature. Okay, covalent bonding, you might have studied this covalent bonding before. If elements are combined by sharing of electron, then it is called covalent bonding or covalent compound. Similarly, these hydrides are covalent in nature. Clear? And examples are NH3, HF, H2O, etc. Okay, all these are examples of covalent hydrides. Okay, and covalent hydrides are further classified into three. First one is electron deficient hydrides. Electron deficient, from the name itself we can understand what is electron deficient. Total number of electrons will not be enough to make the compound stable. Okay, the compound is electron deficient, compound number of electrons will be less. Okay, and second one, electron precise that means the compounds have required number of the compounds formed with required number of electrons, electron precise. And the next one, electron rich hydrides. So there are three types of covalent hydrides: electron deficient and electron precise and electron rich hydrides. Let's see what are these. Now let us discuss what is electron deficient compound. Electron deficient, we'll discuss this using an example, B2H6, and this is commonly known as diborane. Okay, and I can explain this diborane by comparing it with ethane, C2H6. We know that this is how carbon atom has 4 electron in its outermost shell, right? 4 electron in its outermost shell, and 3 of these electrons are bonded with 3 hydrogen atoms, and next carbon atom, same, it has 4 electrons in the outermost shell, and all these 3 electrons are bonded to hydrogen atoms, right? And one electron is remaining in both these carbon atoms, and they are bonded, covalently bonded, to make a compound uh, ethane, right? Ethane. And how many electrons are there in this compound? We have 2 here, 2, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Okay, so 14 electrons are there in this compound. So, and this compound is stable, right? 14 electrons are required to form a stable compound like ethane. But in the case of B2H6, B2H6 is similar to C2H6, C2H6, but the problem is boron has only 3 electrons in its outermost shell. Only 3 electrons are there, okay? 3 electrons will be there, and each of these 3 electrons are combined with hydrogen atoms. Another one, another boron. 3 electrons are combined with hydrogen atoms. Then how these two boron atoms can combine? There is no electron remaining, right, to combine these two boron atoms. Am I right? In such compound, in this particular compound, please understand, the 2 electrons present here will form a bridge between these two boron atoms like this, and this bond is called a banana bond. Okay. And actually only 2 electrons are there, and those 2 electrons will form a bridge between these boron atoms. And please understand, 2 electrons which was present in between boron and hydrogen. One boron hydrogen bond will become a bridge between these two boron atoms, and similarly these 2 electrons between these two boron and hydrogen will become another bridge. Another banana bond will be formed here between these two boron. And please understand, this compound consists of only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 electrons. Only 12 electrons are there. That means required number of electrons are not there for making a stable compound, but a stable compound is formed by some adjustment. Such compounds in which the required number of electrons are less to form a stable compound are called what? Electron deficient compounds. Electron deficient compound. Is it clear? Do you understand what is electron deficient compound? And example is B2H6 diborane. Diborane is an electron deficient compound. Clear? Now we will discuss about next type, electron precise. Electron precise molecules. That means they have required number of electrons to form a stable compound. Okay, compounds formed between carbon and hydrocarbons are actually electron precise. All the hydrocarbons are electron precise compounds. Okay, for example, as I already discussed, when C2H6 was formed, they had required number of electron to form a stable compound. They had required number of electrons, right? They had enough number of electrons to form a stable compound. Such compounds are called electron precise. CH4, CO2, all these are called electron precise hydride. Okay. Next one is electron rich hydride. Electron rich hydride. When hydrogen combines with the which one? 15th to 17th group elements. 15th to 17th group elements, it will form an electron rich hydride. For example, nitrogen. How many electrons are there in the outermost shell of nitrogen? 5, right? Atomic number of nitrogen is 7. Electronic configuration is 2 5. So 5 electrons will be there in the outermost shell of nitrogen. Am I right? And when it combines with hydrogen, it will form NH3, right? And we know that NH3 is formed by sharing of one electron each with 3 hydrogen atoms, and even though there is 2 electrons remaining, right? 2 electrons are remaining there. After it is getting reacted, the hydrogen atom, 2 electrons are still remaining. Such a compound is called as electron rich compound. Even after the formation of hydride, the electrons are remaining. Okay, such a compound is called a electron rich compound. Clear? That's all about the 3 types of hydrides: electron deficient, electron rich, electron precise, and electron rich. Clear? Then the last type is metallic hydride. Metallic hydrides. Metallic hydrides. Okay. Metallic hydrides. Metallic hydrides are hydrides formed when metals in D and F block elements combines with hydrogen. Okay, D and F block elements combines with hydrogen. Okay, and one more thing, the metals in the group number 7, 8 and 9 will not form hydrides. Okay, they will not form hydride. The remaining elements can form hydrides in the D block and F block elements. Okay, and for one example is lanthanum hydride, LaH 2.87, VH 0.56. As you can see over the board, these compounds are non-stoichiometric. They are crystalline hydrides. They are crystalline in nature, but they are non-stoichiometric in nature. They are crystalline in nature, but non-stoichiometric. And as you can see here, lanthanum has combined with 2.87 hydrogen. 2.87 hydrogen. How is that possible? Or vanadium is combined with 0.56 hydrogen. So the proportion, the ratio of this combination is not a whole number. Fractional value is there, right? Hydrogen combined with vanadium in the ratio of fractional value. It is not a stoichiometric compound. That means in such compounds, the hydrogen atoms occupy the space in between the atoms in their crystalline form. Okay, in their crystalline structure, the hydrogen atom occupies a space in between the metal atoms, and such spaces are called interstitial sites. So that these hydrides are also called interstitial hydrides. Okay.